Here today. Looks like our players are ready. As soon as I can get my buddy Gallegation in here. There you go.
Thank you much.
You want to play on Nell's team, or would you like
Sure.
to be a spectator?
I'll play with Nell.
All right. Looks like our players are ready to go. So nix the break. We're just going to jump right into it. It is going to be Spyderslayer versus Nell on Iron Fortress. And you know what I totally forgot to do is it's gonna be rough. I'm gonna have to remember to actually it worked out that I didn't, because it always starts 0-0, but I'm gonna have to remind myself every time to update that in-game score, because it's rough times.
So for those of you just joining, we are going into Game 2. Spyderslayer is up 1-0 against Nell.
Yep, it's gonna be Iron Fortress, another Zerg versus Protoss. And in the lower right-hand corner, the yellow Zerg in game number 2. He won game number 1. It is Spyderslayer. That's the long version of saying up 1-0.
And in the top left-hand corner, the purple Protoss trying some Blink Stalker shenaniganry. First one of the day. It is Nell.
Woo! Clap, 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 clap.
Yeah.
All right, now that I can get the scores all set, it is 1-0. This is Iron Fortress. This is a very large map, and honestly, this, you know, I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm just gonna come right out of the beginning and just get this cat off of my back and say that I'm not even gonna try and hide my bias for Spyderslayer today.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Now, I don't know if you at home were able to hear this, but the players are right behind us, and as this map was loading, Spyderslayer very loudly burst out how much he hates this map and how his win rate is like 19% on it. So he is not super happy to be here today, but I mean, we'll see how he performs.
If I was to think of a reason why, I mean, your natural expansion is fairly close, but your third is a long ways away, and Spyderslayer does like that. Does like to expand out quite a bit, but as you get spread out, especially in the early game with Blink and other things that Nell likes to do, you know, you can really take advantage of that, especially with a play style like Spyderslayer's. But, you know, we have seen both of these players a lot of times before, and they do both like to do some, I would say they're pretty straightforward players. They don't like to really do a whole lot of cheese or anything too crazy, but they will do some outside-the-box play occasionally, where it will be something we don't necessarily expect. So Nell's gas is completed. It is unoccupied at the moment. Gateway going to be finishing up, and Spyderslayer going to be trying to mess with Nell here a bit. And Nell is actually going for, look like a pretty quick expansion, already putting a pylon down at the natural. This also a very hard map to wall off.
Absolutely. If you want to try and protect that natural, that is a wide expanse there.
And looks like Nell actually got an extra hit on that drone while it was targeted on the pylon, so he is going to be unabated in putting down that Nexus there, which is definitely his goal here. He was not really enjoying it last game. Spyderslayer going 3 bases right out the gates again, and I mean, he kind of saw that the Nexus was down there, and there wasn't any Twilight Council yet. Extra Twilight Council. Cybernetics core.
Cybernetics core, yeah.
That other thing that's similar.
Yeah, that gas stayed pretty unoccupied for Nell for a while.
Yeah.
He did finally get some guys in there and is moving forward, but as you said, Spyderslayer getting that third base quite early. Nell knows what's going on. He's moving around.
Spawning pool is halfway down here for Spyderslayer, and he's getting himself going. Nell poking in to see that the natural expansion is there. I think that's a fairly expected reality at this point, but looking at the vision, he does not know about the third. He is checking up north. It is not there, and he has rallied down to the other third, so he will see that that is there. And you know, seeing that Spyderslayer went for that, I mean, as a Protoss, that would be saying, okay, now I can sit back and tech a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, when you looked at the timing of that spawning pool, I think it was pretty obvious that Spyderslayer was trying to get that third base, and Nell is just kind of hanging out, enjoying the view on the creep.
I think, you know, one of the especially this being a map that Spyderslayer doesn't necessarily enjoy, if he does end up losing this game, something that he has done is, you know, it's fairly well-known fact that he likes to go for these pretty early expands like this, and in a third game type scenario, he'll go for like a 10 pool with a lot of lings and just like completely catch his opponent off guard. That has happened pretty often here, but looks like not today, as he's going to be continuing to wall off the front of your Stargate, and Spyderslayer did see that coming into that Overlord, so that's going to be pretty clutch. It's going to be Phoenix coming out here for Nell.
So we'll see how Spyderslayer decides to react. Not a whole lot knee-jerk here, just putting down an Evo chamber kind of at the front to start off on creating that Zerg wall.
Well, and it is, you know, a little bit tough because the well, okay, I guess that nixes that. The Overlord is there, and it does see the Phoenix as it pops out. What I was going to say is that it's a little bit tough if you can't figure out exactly which way he was going, be it for Oracle or for Phoenix, because you want to handle that a little bit differently.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Nell just wanted to get that quick Overlord, and that does supply block Spyderslayer, so he's going to be locked there for a few minutes, but 4 Ovi's on the way, and that'll open him back up.
He does really like to have his Overlord spread around, so that's actually going to kill quite a significant amount of his vision here. Zealot and Pro moving out. Looks like maybe scouting out a potential third base here.
And that Ovi's just kind of sitting over third base. Phoenix is sitting pretty idle. I'm surprised that it hasn't been moving around a little bit more.
I think he's just really trying to clear the Ovi's and Lings out of the front here, so that he can maybe take a third base and not have it immediately scouted. But I think you could assume that that's what he would do based on the fact that he's not really going and trying to do a whole lot with those Phoenix besides just clearing out Overlords.
So Spyderslayer deciding that he's going to go ground in response to this air assault.
He's got a Spore Crawler here at each base, and I think that's a pretty fair reaction at this point, not going too far into it. Only 3 Phoenix out now, and Nell is going for ground upgrades, so this is just going to be kind of a get up to 3 or 4 Phoenix here and just kind of poke around, keep the Overlords down so that Spyderslayer can't have cut that vision. Now there is a pylon going down here right next to Spyderslayer's third base, so now that Warp Gate is completed, 4 gateways about to finish up as well. Looks like he's going to kind of make a similar push. And honestly, you know, I'm a unashamed Protoss player myself, and this has been one of my favorite things, especially in team games when we play, is to get a lot of Phoenix. And it's pretty cool how with like 4 or 5 Phoenix and a decent ground force of Zealots and a few Stalkers, you can take out of the you don't even have to worry about doing too much damage with the Phoenix, but just lifting up and taking some reinforcements out of play for Spyderslayer here would be huge. But coming in with this,
got to be real careful. That Spore Crawler might take out his mother's core. Jeez.
Yep, he is going to be. Spyderslayer does have a decent number of Lings here, but that's not going to go so well against these Zealots, and the Mothership Core there is poking out as well. So he's going to be coming on in. It looks like a lot of Lings and Banelings now coming in for Spyderslayer. He's getting to the... Oh, he does get those Zealots separated out, so that is going to be good for him. But now reinforcement Zealots coming in. The Lings are getting absolutely decimated.
Banelings are getting ready to pop. They are out, but the Phoenix are there to try and lift them up. More Banelings moving in. A couple of hits. Does take out a few of those Zealots, and the Lings just keep trying to do their dance. There's a lot of low health Zealots here, but they do a lot of damage to these Lings, and they are just dropping like flies.
There are 50 Zerglings in production with Spyderslayer here, so he's going to reinforce and clean this up, but he does lose his third base, and that is not going to sit well. Oh, he's going to lose that Mothership Core. The Queen is going to be able to take it out, so that is a bit of a loss there for Nell. Now, with Spyderslayer having so many Lings, he is going to have to put some pressure on Nell here, and Nell's going to have to actually be careful. Because he could kind of catch him off guard here if he has a big flood of Lings that just come back out.
But Nell does have a full wall here, and he brought in a lot of Zealots behind the wall, so those are kind of stuck for now. He was expecting that Ling swing by, and it looks like it is going to be coming here in just a moment.
Yeah, Nell's going to try and keep poking with these Phoenix, but honestly I think what Spyderslayer is going to do with these Lings is just try and keep Nell from expanding, because after taking out Spyderslayer's third, his natural reaction would want to be able to take a third of his own. He's not going to be able to get into Nell's natural there. There is enough Zealots and Stalkers there to keep him back, but Spyderslayer is still on 2 bases. Looks like he is going to lose 1 more Queen to these Phoenix, so that is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's super annoying when that happens. He's got to keep making those. He's going to be blocked on some larva production for a few minutes.
Looking at the unit stab, it is 47 probes to 49 drones, so sitting...
bust at the front! And they take out both the pylons, but don't get a lot of damage off on the Zealots or the Stalkers.
They're getting some nice surrounds on these Stalkers here.
And the Lings are continuing to move forward. Zealots are being warped in and doing heavy damage here. I mean, those Lings are taking a lot of hits. They really haven't gotten in to do a lot of economy damage. There are a couple going back, but now the probes are in trouble. The army is gone, and the Lings are at play.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid of here from Spyderslayer, is that Nell would get himself in a comfortable position there, and he would be able to break in. Now Spyderslayer going ahead and taking a third base. Looks like there's not a lot here that Nell's going to be able to do. He did warp in some Zealots and does block off the ramp with the sentry, but I don't think he blocked it off all the way.
Well, there are 2 Banelings being morphed in the main base, and they are... they got their eyes on those probes, but it looks like Nell has an idea of what's happening. He's moving in, but... Oh!
That was a great hit there. Those Phoenix just a little bit too late to lift that up. Reinforcement Lings coming in here from Spyderslayer. He is going to be able to take... you know, the Phoenix are not all that helpful in a Zergling situation.
Not so much. Nell's doing what he can to get good positioning with the Zealots, but he is going to lose this Nexus, and he is hurting pretty badly here in Drums.
And there's the GG, well played.
GG indeed. So that puts Spyderslayer up 2-0, winning him that match. He will move on to the next phase of the tournament, and Nell will be moving into the loser bracket at this point.
Yep, if you've ever tuned into Youmacon before, you know that we like to involve our players quite a bit here, so we are going to have some player interviews of at least Spyderslayer coming up here in just a moment while we get our next match set up. And once again, this is Youmacon 2015 in Detroit, Michigan. I'm Wingnut SC with the handsome Gallegation here. And we will be with you all day long bringing you this tournament. And if you check out, what's the bracket URL again? He pasted it.